Okay, whenever you see percentages on an SAT question, you have to be nervous. Percentages have a very high potential for trap answer choices, so you've got to be really cautious. This one, I think the trap here, I think many of you might have picked it, is choice B, okay? It seems very logical. That's how we take a percentage, right? You kind of multiply by a decimal. We kind of maybe think we've seen through the trap because there's 15 versus 85. No, no, no. Here's how we're going to do it. We're going to use this thing called the open formula, which looks like the word open. I made this up for the SAT because people kept making mistakes. And so here's what all these letters stand for. The O is the original. The P is the percentage. And in this case, because it's a percent change, we are going to use a slightly different version of the formula where it's 1 plus or minus P, and that is equal to the new value. Okay? So now we can take the specifics of this story and plug them in. Well, the computer costs $326 after a 15% discount. So the 326 isn't what we're starting with. It's not our original value. It's our new value. So that's going to go over here. Now, we don't know the original, right? Like, we're probably going to have to solve for it. And the discount we do know. And because it's a discount, the best thing about this open formula is it's very intuitive if we're using it. So if they say discount, we're going to use a minus. So if it said an increase of 15% or a 15% tax, different story, then we're going to add the 15, but we're going to subtract because that's what a discount is. So it's very logical and matches our words very closely. And when we write the percentage, we're going to write it as a decimal, 1 minus 0.15. Okay, so when we simplify all this, we are going to get x times 0.85 equals 326. And so there is a little bit of a trap there, right? We see in the question 15%, and yet in the actual solving, it's going to appear as a 0.85. That's just how percent decrease works. It's a very common trap on the SAT. We need to avoid it. But even if we do, we might fall for the other trap of choice B, which is thinking of percentages as multiplication. But in this case, to solve for x, we would need to divide by 0.85. And so that is choice C, okay? This is tricky. So the first step you need to do in order to conquer the SAT's percentage problems is recognize that this is tricky and that you're going to need to take a breath and go slow, and this formula will help you stay organized and hopefully avoid all the traps. It's a very tricky thing, but the first step is recognizing that it's tricky so that you're not just lightning speed through the question, all right? You can avoid the trap if you're careful.